Picture this. You've saved for years, scouted neighborhoods, and finally found your dream home, only to lose it to a corporate buyer with deep pockets. Sound familiar? That's because the home ownership game isn't just tough. It's rigged today. Builders are slowing down, prices are skyrocketing, and entire neighborhoods are being snapped up by private equity firms. But here's the kicker. This isn't just a random market trend. There's a system at play. And today, I'm pulling back the curtain. Hey there, friends. It's Steve here, your second or maybe your third favorite grandfather. If this is your first time tuning into Old Guy Insights, welcome aboard. I'm here to share life lessons and real-world insights, all wrapped in a warm, no-nonsense package. Today we're tackling why both new and existing homes are slipping further out of reach. We'll explore builder strategies, the rise of rentals, and why the supply of existing homes is tighter than ever. But before we jump in, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. You'll want to hear what I've got coming up. And for more data on today's topic, check out the show page on my website, oldguyinsights.me. That's me. Hey, stick around until the end where I'll wrap it all up and leave you with actionable insights to navigate this market and maybe, just maybe, snag your dream home. Let's dive in. For generations, owning a home has been the cornerstone of the American dream. But today, whether you're looking for a brand new house or a well-loved existing one, the dream feels more like a mirage. And this isn't just a problem in the United States. Around the world, home ownership is becoming increasingly out of reach. In Canada, our northern neighbors, the median home price is now over 10 times the annual household income, making it one of the least affordable housing markets globally. Australia, our friends down under, they're not far behind with a ratio of 8 times the annual income. And here in the United States, the median house price is around 5 times the annual income, while lower still presents significant challenges to first-time buyers. These staggering numbers highlight a universal truth. The path to homeownership is growing steeper no matter where you live. Meet Sarah and Mike. They're in their early 30s, saving diligently for their first home. They've spent weekends touring shiny new developments and charming older homes, but nothing seems to work out. New builds are priced too high, and every existing home they find gets snatched up by an all-cash offer. I don't get it, Mike says. These houses are barely on the market for a day. Sarah sighs. Even if we could bid high enough, how are we supposed to then save for daycare, car repairs, a new water heater, when everything's already so expensive? Their frustration is shared by millions of first-time buyers caught between soaring prices and a limited supply of homes. While families like Sarah and Mike feel stuck, builders have their own strategies to keep supply limited and prices high. Not just your imagination. There's a severe shortage of both new and existing homes. New home construction has slowed due to rising costs, labor shortages, and strategic delays by big builders. Meanwhile, existing homeowners are holding on to their properties, reluctant to sell when options for moving are so limited. That's the way I feel. But the challenges don't stop with new builds. Even existing homes are slipping out of reach, thanks to rising competition from investors. So why are Sarah and Mike struggling to buy a home? Well, because many of them aren't even for sale. Institutional investors and even the largest home builders in the United States are focusing on rentals instead of building homes for individual buyers. Don't believe me? Well, take Lennar, for example. They're the second largest home builder in the United States. They're prioritizing build-to-rent communities, saying this strategy allows families to experience a single-family lifestyle while saving for a down payment. In a recent public filing, Lennar stated, quote, "We have intensified our focus on build-to-rent both at a community scale and in single-family for rent scattered home sale markets. We believe we can and should build additional production for professionally owned housing. But professional owners need cost efficiencies, and in today's interest rate environment, to make their rents attainable for families who aspire to a single-family lifestyle but can't yet afford a down payment or qualify for a mortgage." Unquote. Similarly, D.R. Horton, the largest home builder in the United States, has shifted to constructing single-family and multifamily rentals, which are then sold in bulk to investors. Their public filing said this: "The single-family rental operations primarily construct and lease single-family homes within a community, and then market each community for a bulk sale of rental homes. The multifamily rental operations develop, construct, lease, and sell residential rental properties, the majority of which are apartment communities." We know what their focus is. Builders are also offering fewer options and models for new homes to streamline production and increase profits by focusing on a limited number of layouts. They reduce costs and maximize their margins, leaving buyers with fewer affordable choices. Mike vents his frustration as they browse listings together. Look at this one. It was listed yesterday and it already has multiple offers on it. How are we supposed to compete with that? Sarah says, not just us. These investors don't even blink at these prices. They're buying entire neighborhoods and turning them into rentals. Here's the kicker. While home sales are down, profits for home builders are soaring. In 2005, D.R. Horton sold a record number of homes, earning $1.47 billion in profit. Now fast forward to 2023. Despite building roughly half as many homes, the company's profit more than tripled to $4.7 billion. Mike sighs, shaking his head. Damn. So they're building fewer homes for people like us and they're making even more money? No wonder it feels impossible. It's not just about what's being built or rented. It's also about why building homes has become such a slow and costly process. First there's the labor shortage. Over 400,000 open positions in the construction industry remain unfilled, and the industry needs 740,000 new workers annually to meet demand and replace retirees. That's like trying to fill a leaky bucket with more water, and it just keeps pouring out. Builders are struggling to find skilled labor, which delays projects and drives up costs. And now you toss in potentially mass deportation on top of that. Where are the workers coming from? Now, then there's the supply chain crisis with skyrocketing costs for materials like lumber and steel. Builders often wait for prices to stabilize, which slows down progress even further. And finally, there are regulatory hurdles that add significant delays, from zoning restrictions to lengthy permitting processes. Even a simple development can be tied up for months or years, and in areas where housing developments face community resistance, those timelines stretch even longer. For families like Sarah and Mike, these delays mean waiting longer and paying more, while their dream home remains just out of reach. To be fair, builders argue that they're managing risk in an uncertain market. Phased releases where builders hold back homes, they say, help balance supply and demand, preventing overbuilding and potential losses. Some even claim that their build-to-rent communities are filling a critical gap, offering families like Sarah and Mike a place to live while they save for a down payment. But here's the problem. What makes sense for builders often feels like an insurmountable roadblock for buyers. For Sarah and Mike, these strategies mean fewer options, higher prices, and a growing sense that the dream of homeownership might never happen. It's easy to think that the housing market is one big conspiracy designed to lock people out like Sarah and Mike. But here's the reality. It's not a coordinated plot. It's a system responding to market dynamics. After the 2008 financial crisis, smaller builders were wiped out, and larger builders filled the gap, consolidating power. Add in labor shortages, skyrocketing material costs, and strategic investor activity, and you've got a recipe for today's housing challenges. Sure. Builders and investors sometimes cooperate on things like land development or pooled resources, but that's about efficiency, not plotting against buyers. Still, the end result feels the same. Fewer homes available and prices that keep climbing, leaving first-time buyers scrambling. And even rents are going up as well. Historically, government intervention has helped ease housing crises. Policies like the Housing Act of 1937 and FHA mortgage programs made homeownership accessible to millions. More recently, cities like Minneapolis have reformed their zoning laws to allow multifamily housing, increasing supply and stabilizing prices. But in today's political climate, while reducing government and cutting regulations is often a priority, major reforms seem unlikely. Even if policymakers wanted to act, the necessary agencies and staff may lack the resources to enforce changes. So for Sarah and Mike, this means they're unlikely to see meaningful relief anytime soon. The system, as it stands, seems built to serve the interest of large players rather than individual families. And who's paying the lobbyists, right? So what's the likely future? Well, unless something changes, affordable homeownership will remain a distant dream for many. Renting may become the new normal, forcing families to rethink what stability and success look like. Good old Mike recently joked, "At this rate, maybe we should just embrace renting forever. At least we don't have to worry about fixing the roof." He's not wrong. It's a grim take, but it reflects the reality that many first-time buyers face. Mike's viewpoint is also a sound belief. Homeownership comes with many unanticipated expenses like repairs, taxes, insurance, and general maintenance. Hell, in the past 2 years alone, I've spent over $30,000 in stormwater management, new heating and air conditioning systems, and miscellaneous maintenance. Owning a home is not cheap, and when you rent, the landlord is responsible for those expenses. And here's where things get tougher. In a potential political environment focused on deregulation and cutting government programs, the chances of meaningful intervention seem slim. Without changes to zoning laws, incentives for first-time buyers, or restrictions on investor purchases, homeownership could remain out of reach for millions. Today's housing market is a minefield of limited supply, investor competition, and rising costs. Both new and existing homes are out of reach for many, leaving first-time buyers feeling like they're playing a game they can't win. But here's the takeaway. While the system may feel rigged, knowledge is power. By staying informed, doing what you can to advocate for reforms, and hoping for yet developed creative financial strategies, families like Sarah and Mike can hopefully push back against the odds. It's a tough road, but the dream of homeownership doesn't have to die, and it doesn't have to be the ultimate goal. It just needs a new playbook. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I've got a ton more details and facts that will blow your mind. It's over on the show page for this show on my website, oldguyinsights.me. I couldn't include everything. Remember, while the housing market feels daunting, knowledge is power, and let's work together to bring the new American dream back within reach. Until next time, stay hopeful, stay informed, and remember to do good things. See ya.